wargaming.com, here with Winters SEO. How are you today, Winters?
I'm good. I'm fine. Thank you. Fine. Everything's fine here. How are you?
I'm excellent. Welcome to the Shrine of Chaos, everybody.
Thank you.
If you have not seen Winters SEO or his YouTube channel, then by all means check him out. I've included links in this post down below to his YouTube channel, also to Deployment Zone TV, which is his membership where you can support him and Liam Dempsey and all of the others who are included in there, but mostly you, because you are here with us right now, and that just makes sense. So you're a stud, you're a Chad, you're a legend. Everything about you is amazing sauce. You bathe in it every morning, and I'm so excited to have you in the shrine today. And there is a giveaway that we're doing. So we are doing a Death Watch giveaway. That will be a little bit later on in the shrine. So if people are asking about it, you can say they have not done the giveaway yet. They're going to be doing it a little bit later. And we're going to be talking about many a thing today, this afternoon, this evening, wherever it is for you in the world. So, Winters, how are you?
I'm fine, Dave. How are you? Thanks for having me on. It's nice to be back.
Yes, you have been on once before, and we had a blast, and we've had some interaction and collaborations in the meantime. So those were fun to do.
The floor is lava.
The floor is lava.
And the murder ball challenge with the 8 corn demons in the mini wargaming vault. And if anyone's watching this who isn't a vault member, they should definitely sign up to the mini wargaming vault, where I dropped a super awesome wargame challenge for you to stick 8 demons of corn in the middle of the table, and they ran off in loads of different directions, and any single unit they hit, they just did mortal wounds. And it was basically, can you try and survive the murder ball challenge while trying to kill your opponent? And craziness ensued.
Lots of craziness, absolutely. It was a bloodbath. And by the way, I did it incorrectly. Someone mentioned it in the comments. They're like, Dave, it wasn't supposed to be everything dies within 8 inches. It's only engagement range. I'm like, but corn cared not from whence the blood flowed. But there was a lot of death and carnage. And you know what? It was equally fun, because I knew no different. It would have been fun too to do the engagement range. And it was a matter of just running away from the carnage and see who can survive. Yeah, totally different. I want to do it again. Have you tried the scenario as well?
I haven't tried that one yet. No, I haven't tried that one yet. But I thought it would be very exciting and very interesting for you to do in particular, because of corn. I thought it would scratch that itch. I haven't tried. I should try that one. I've got so many other things on the go right now, though. So it's
yes, you're a busy man. Yep. Please tell us. Please tell us some of the things, whatever you can tell.
The main thing that happened was you appeared on a fireside chat with Quipster, which I put on Winters SEO YouTube channel, because Fireside Chat is one of the podcast series in the Deployment Zone, and you and Quipster were so awesome on that. I thought I had to put that on YouTube, and then I listened to that all the way through, and I was supremely jealous of Quipster getting to chat to you for a good hour, which is why I then said, Dave, I need to talk to you again.
Yeah, that was a blast. But he's an awesome dude and very good interviewer. And so thank you for the invitation for me to do that. That was awesome.
Well, no, he's he's a very good conversationalist, is Quipster. He does a number of podcasts. He does the other one. What's his other one that he does? The Conclave podcast, which you can find. That's his one with his mates. That one's really good. He's a very good conversationalist. So it was a really good conversation that he had with you. I thought it was very, very revealing, very open, and it flowed quite well. I really enjoyed that one. So I was like, I need to talk to Dave again.
Thank you for that. Honestly, it was 2 hours. That says a lot. The fact that you listened to the whole thing, that means a lot to me. So thank you. And again, a pleasure to do and a joy to do. And,
it's great painting material, isn't it? Podcasts. You have them on in the background with your earphones on while you're painting away. Mm-hmm. So that happened, and other things that's happening is, because you talk about. So one of the things that is happening is I'm building up an army for the No Retreat Legends tournament, which I know you're going to as well, which is currently scheduled for the end of November at the moment, COVID willing.
Yes.
So what I'm doing in the Deployment Zone is I started a series. There's a few things started in there, but one of the things that started in there is a series which is Winters Tournament Practice, which has got your lovely voice on, actually, every time a video. So it's like, this is the army that I'm thinking about building. and one of them is Death Watch. I've done a few fights with the Death Watch and a few Death Watch lists so far. I'm on version 2 of the Death Watch and trying to build a Death Watch tournament list, hence the Death Watch giveaway. And then the other one that I'm building on, also working on, is Death Guard. It's got to have death in it. Death Watch, Death Guard. And so that one is, and I'm working on that list. I don't know which one I'm bringing, but there's also, I'm looking over my right shoulder here to another army, which isn't even assembled yet. And this is like a whole other project, which hopefully will be assembled and painted and play tested. And some of those battle reports come up before we go to the No Retreat Legends tournament, because I might be taking this one instead. I don't know which one to take yet. I've got so many ideas, and playing it and working it through at a competitive level and playing match play and playing, it makes my brain itch. So that's one of the projects. Are you working on your No Retreat Legends army? Are you actually focused on that as well?
Yes, there is a World Eaters army that I'll be bringing. I contemplated bringing my Blood Angels because they're probably more competitive, but I don't care. I'm just gonna bring I'm gonna bring my World Eaters army because I'll have more fun playing them. Yeah. And so there's certain units that I wanted added to the army, so those are happening right now. Yeah, they're in the works.
But your World Eaters army that you took to play on tabletop, that one did very well.
That one did well, but yes, I mean, it did do well. Here's the thing, though, right? Like I'm not a competitive player, so I don't even know what's good and what's not good. All I know is like what's fun and what's more fun. So in my mind, World Eaters is more fun, and I'm just gonna bring stuff, and you're gonna look at my army. If you think it's competitive, okay, I'll take your word for it. I don't know. I'm not comparing meta. I'm not doing any of that stuff, right? I'm just bringing an army. And if Khorne wills it to go far in the tournament, then so be it.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what's gonna. It's pure chaos. Like I going in, and whatever happens, happens.
So you're basing your choices around what's fun.
Yes. 100%.
Okay, that's cool.
I don't know. I don't know what anyone else is bringing. I don't know their lists. I don't know. I'm not following to the T, to the meta, all the stuff.
No.
Yeah. So and to be honest, if they did show me, I wouldn't fully understand. I wouldn't. I just wouldn't. Like, okay, all right. There's a whole bunch of guns and stuff that Khorne needs to chew through, but Khorne's hungry, so that's okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's meet. Let's have a meal.
I wasn't taking it that seriously, but then I am now taking it seriously because we've got Tabletop Titans are going. They're playtesters. Tabletop Tactics playtesters. Vanguard Tactics playtesters. And then Mikey from Hellstorm, he's coming and he's a tournament board. But let's face it, the play on tabletop guys, they're fairly competitive, or can be, and they've been known to go to a lot of tournaments. There's a good chunk of people going to this Legends thing, content creators, who are either playtesters or really good, or have lots of tournament experience. You've never been to a tournament.
Correct.
I haven't been to one for ages, except for other No Retreat ones, and I don't consider the No Retreat tournaments. I consider them more like a hobby weekend with a tournament in, because the guys there, the SN guys, are so good at making the event itself feel special. And it's got a tournament. In fact, the thing that I enjoy least about the No Retreat events that I've been to is actually playing the games. They're really good fun. And when I say enjoy least, I enjoy playing the games, enjoyed the tournament itself, but on the scale of fun, there's the games, which are fun, and then it's the craziness in the evening, then it's the barbecues, then it's the other little things that they put on in and around. The fact that it's in Gibraltar, the rock, with all the scenery and all the history and all the little tours, it's so good. It's there's other things in, and yes, it's good. So I don't do tournaments, but I'm doing this one, and I'm scared by all the people, so I'm putting some real effort into building up a really, what I like to think is a good tournament army, maybe.
Yeah, that sounds like a good strategy too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. So say the chaos. So look, here's the thing. We've had so many chaos releases over the last 2 years, right? Just inundated with chaos and chaos and more chaos Space Marines, that finally it's really nice that they actually doing the Black Templars in a couple of months' time, because we haven't had any Space Marines at all. No Space Marines in the last 2 years. So finally we get
no Space
finally
Marines.
we get our first Space Marine release in ages,
Finally.
the Black Templars. Yeah, finally.
Yeah.
Something that people were really crying out for, not Chaos Space Marines.
No,
but let's say
not at all. No.
in between now and November, you're building your army, you're building it. Say finally they do release a Chaos Space Marine Codex at some point this year.
Yes.
Then what about your ideas and things? How are you going to adapt? How are you going to overcome?
Well, this is what I suspect would happen. I would still bring the same list that I'm preparing, because the models that I'm bringing are just fun to play with. And then whatever rules changes happen to be applied to those models, well, so be it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Say though, because the Khorne Berserker plastic kits, they're all a bit janky. They're like 20 years old.
Yes.
They got that running pose.
Uh-huh.
Say they release like Primaris-ified World Eaters, though, that are better.
Uh-huh.
How are you? I mean,
well,
say the new Chaos. What I'm saying is, say the new Chaos Codex is glorious.
Yes.
Say it is the Chaos Space Marine Codex, and suddenly you've got 1,000 things to get done and 1,000 more ideas. And is your body ready for this, Dave?
I mean, I've been waiting for it for a long time, right? And one thing I can say for sure is that it's really hard to predict chaos. So could I change my army? That's very possible. I have a Black Legion army where I have every model in the line in multiples, right? So if they change something and I made something fun, I could very easily do that with a new edition release with the new rules.
Right.
World Eaters, it's similar, not as much flexibility, but still pretty close. So I could adapt and bring different things as well.
Okay.
I'd probably put some new Berserkers on the table if that was a thing. Right now, they're already converted from Blood Warriors from AOS, so they're not the old ones. They're the new ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Chaos needs some love, doesn't it? Chaos needs some love.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. 100%. I would put that on my gravestone. Chaos needs love, and really, I brought it a little bit too far. In the astral plane, there we go. So when my consciousness is floating around, that's when I'm going to want to say, continue with the love of chaos forever and always.
Yeah, Chaos needs some love. We need Demonkin back. We need Codex World Eaters.
Yes.
Angron needs to rise. I'm sure that after the next Space Marine release, we might know. After the next one, Black Templars, then there's there'll be the Ultramarines, there'll be all of them. We need some more Space Marines, obviously. So after the next 5 Space Marine releases, you might get one new HQ model or something. Maybe.
Yeah. Okay, so ideal world, Winters, it would be World Eaters / Demonkin Codex. That's what it would be, with new models, with the Blood Tithe mechanic, with all of that awesomeness, like new specific models. Can you imagine like Khorne Terminators that are specific to Khorne? How amazing would that be? Right.
World Eaters are up there with one of the most popular Chaos factions. Night Lords get a lot of love as well because of the trilogy from Aaron Dembski-Bowden. But can you imagine how much money they would make? There'd be print money if there was a World Eaters Codex. Print it.
I believe that. I absolutely believe that. Yeah, I've been playing them a lot the last few years, and right now I enjoy them more than straight up Chaos Space Marines. Right before it was always Black Legion, always that was kind of my go-to. Right, and then occasionally World Eaters, or some Berserkers within the Black Legion. But now it's World Eaters.
Right.
Yeah.
So that presents an interesting question, which is why? Why more? Why?
That's Khorne Berserkers and close combat and tearing things up is one of the most like dopamine-rich experiences I can ever tell you. Like that's the one thing I want to have happen in a game of 40K, and it doesn't matter what else happens. As long as that happens, I've enjoyed myself, and that's it.
Yeah. And they need to be, the thing is, they need to be so terrifying that if they lose half of their force getting to the enemy to tear them up, that half a World Eater's army should be strong enough to tear through an entire opponent's full army. Yeah, they need to be absolutely terrifying on the battlefield. And Khorne Berserkers still are to some degree. They're still pretty scary, Khorne Berserkers.
Yeah.
But they could be so much worse.
Yeah. If you give them like the... Heck, I like to do the chain axe, chain sword combo. So no bolt pistols at all, right? Power fist on the champion. And then Icon of Wrath, of course. Squads of 5, and then you put 2 of them in a rhino, so you have 2 squads coming out, right?
Yeah.
And then at least 6 squads. So 3 rhinos, 6 squads, and they're like running at you. So there's redundancy, and then there's just fun factor. And then they can hold objectives. They can do stuff too if they want. But mostly just get forward and get in your face and cause trouble.
Yeah. You can put, is it the Butcher's Nail strats on Terminators now? Chaos Terminators? That strat?
Yeah, you can make them fight twice too.
Do you do that?
Every time.
Every time.
Every time. It's pre-game strat. You pay for it, and then fun. You can do that too for, I believe you can do that if you have a Chaos Lord Terminator. I think that's a thing. But for sure, the Terminator squad proper. Yeah. Because, that's devastating, man. Terminators are okay, right? But if they fight twice, they're amazing.
Well, Terminators are better with 3 wounds.
I don't disagree with that life statement. There are only 2 wounds for me. But, yes, 3 wounds is much better.
What do you think? Actually, that gets me thinking as well. Because we've got so many codexes waiting for their 9th edition codex. And Games Workshop are doing the supplement thing and releasing books. They're releasing rules for books that have been released for 9th before they release new codexes for the people that need. They seem to be all over the place right now is where I'm going.
Yes.
Yeah.
They were as much all over the place as your statement describing they're all over the place is.
It's just, why? Why, Dave? I don't like, why? Why, Dave? What's going on? If Dell, put your mind in the mind of the hive mind that is Games Workshop. What the hell's going on?
So pragmatically speaking, if I was up there in charge of making money, what makes the most? Okay, Space Marines. All right, done. We got that covered. What makes the next most? Okay, probably some other stuff. Some Xenos. Some Xenos that we can include in the box set because we don't want to go Marine on Marine because that's just too obvious. So yeah, Necrons or heck, even Death Guard. That's probably a thing too that can happen. That'd be acceptable. Update the new Chaos Space Marines. That versus new Primaris unit of any sort. Okay, it's a gamble with the Chaos Space Marines. Primaris. Yeah, numbers show that the last 3 quarters is going to be profitable no matter what we do. Okay, all right, fine. We'll do the Primaris. Chaos, put it on the back burner. Even though I want to do it, we'll put it on the back burner. It's still a thing. So, don't put too much resources towards it. But, kind of keep it in mind. And, just give people hope that it might happen. So they can, continue playing the game at least and using their models. And then they're going to collect a Space Marine army because they want to still compete in tournaments and still actually do something in addition to the army that they actually want to play with. So everyone has a Space Marine army in addition to their loved army. And so it's a win-win for us because of money, Space Marines, and then hope for the army that they want. And let's proceed with the same exact thing because that's what's making money. Are you happy, shareholders? You are? Okay, we'll do it again.
I don't understand. See, Space Marines. Chaos Space Marines. That's what I don't get. Chaos Space Marines are Space Marines. So a proper Chaos Space Marine launch, when they've done it because there was some Chaos Space Marine love in 8th edition, but it was done terribly because they did the Chaos Space Marine 2.0 codex with some Venom crawlers and some new bits and some new plastic kits. It was just it was a bit of a release. It could have been shouted about and a proper Chaos Space Marine launch with a proper book with taking over. If Chaos Space Marines took over Games Workshop for 2 months and it was everywhere, like the Primarisified Space Marine, it would be huge.
It would be huge. Primarisified. How amazing is that, man? Just the image in my brain. So cool.
Yeah.
Like Havocs with 3 wounds?
Yeah. creations of bile sort of thing. Hey, Primaris Marines have 2 wounds. Why not Chaos Space Marines with 3 wounds? Why don't they? Fabius Bile gets his proper bile on and really bulks up. Imagine World Eater Chaos Space Marines in like Gravis type armor, Mark V with horns and spikes and 3 wounds charging across the battle grid.
Yes.
And I know there'll be people out there saying, well, the law doesn't... No. You write the law for the models. So Abaddon could have been doing some weird stuff in the eye for the last 10,000 years, and all of a sudden, Belisarius Call came out of nowhere.
Yes, it did, right?
Suddenly there could be Belisarius Anti-Call somewhere. Bobby Call, someone else. And he's been doing the same thing, and suddenly you've got these huge... It could be huge. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. Instead, we have Black Templars. Anyway, I'm ranting.
Back to the Templar. Yeah, I know. And here's the thing that's so painful, right? Because out of all the miniature tabletop war games, 40K is my favorite. It's always been my favorite one. It's the most fun. For me, that's the case. Even like Kill Team, Necromunda, I've played those. They're also fun, but not as much fun as 40K proper.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's so painful to see the thing that is most loved not coming out in the way in which I want it to.
Yeah.
I mean, I like playing Blood Angels. It's fun. It's okay. It's not Chaos Space Marines.
Yeah. Just more Templars. Here we go. Deathcore of Krieg. Let's ramble about that for a moment. While we're talking about new models, that popped into my head. Lovely Deathcore of Krieg coming out in plastic. They're not grim dark enough. Okay. They should have been browns and greys and covered in mud. And I love the fact that Deathcore is coming. And I can see all the Deathcore coming. Brilliant. But it's grim dark. If you think it's bad in the 41st millennium, it's worse. And it's anyway. No, Dave, talk about something else. Kitten.
I must say though, what I did before when I went off on that tangent, obviously I know nothing. I know absolutely nothing. I have a 0% understanding of the inner workings of Games Workshop. So all I know is that they release minis, and they're a miniatures company.
Yeah.
And so why do they make the decisions that they make? Is it based on customer feedback? I mean, it's got to be somewhat, right? Otherwise, is the feedback just really the dollars? All right, the feedback is ultimately you are buying most of this kind of product versus what the comments on videos and things are saying.
Yeah.
So do we do what you say with your wallet, or do you do what you say with your comments? Right? So I don't know anything. I don't know. All I know is what I feel, and what I feel is anecdotal. I have a chaos perspective. That's what I want to have happen. So, yeah.
I think it's you're right actually, because to be clear, we don't know anything. But yeah, I suppose because chaos for you, it's chaos. Therefore, you want chaos.
Yeah.
But there's 1,000. Well, less than 1,000. There's about 100 Eldar players in the world.
Okay.
They've got some pretty old sculpts as well.
Yes,
they probably want
Guardians, right? They're super old.
They're super old. Vipers and things. Aspect Warrior. Yeah, they're all.
Is it barely
old.
past second edition old? Is that how old they are?
I think they're really old. They're not as old as the Eldar race, but they're pretty old.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Not quite.
Yeah.
There. Yeah.
Not quite there.
A little bit younger than the old ones, but just barely past.
Eldar are to me as Tau are to you, by the way.
Oh, okay. Well then, here's the cup of hate and cheers.
Tau are really popular. Tau are up there with one of the 3rd or 4th most popular factions. Did you know that? They're really popular. Yes.
Tau.
People love Tau.
They love Tau, or they love to hate on Tau?
No, they love Tau. It's a really popular faction. People like anime and Gundam and things like that.
Huh.
So they like Tau. I don't know why. I don't.
Okay, hold on. Is this a stat from the amount of tournament players who play Tau? Is this a products sold that are Tau products? What is this? What is the stat?
It's a thing that I heard once from a GW thing once, ages ago, a Games Day thing. What was it? There's a games day or a thing or a podcast. It's in my brain. And I remember them directly saying that Tau were like their third or fourth most popular faction and their most popular Xenos faction by far. And Games Workshop said that.
Really?
Yeah. It's from a couple of years ago, from just before 8th. I can't remember the source off the top of the head because brain explodes. But they're popular. Apparently, Tau are popular. People like anime, so they like Tau.
That is true.
Go on.
What you're saying is true. And I guess there was a Reddit poll, and Tau won the most loved faction by a large number, like a month ago.
Did they? Okay.
Wow.
Well, you got Farsight and the Seven Samurai. Farsight and the 8. That's the Seven Samurai, right? Of course, original IP. Sorry, not 7. So people love that story and things like that. But I know you don't like Tau, and that's fine. But people like Tau. And I don't understand why people like Eldar, because it's all their fault. Everything.
They take the blame.
Yes, it's their fault. The Eye of Terror, right? Their fault.
That is right. Okay, this is an interesting thing. Just going back to Tau for a second. It's okay. Because somebody said, yeah, they're the most popular because before 8th they were the biggest, bestest meta army. That's why they're the most popular. So that's someone's take on it. And has that just spilled over into subsequent editions? People continue to love Tau? Or I think
when they first came out, they weren't popular at all, were they? When the Tau was first released. Oh, you weren't back in the game back then.
Okay, when were they released? I started playing 4th edition.
Tau, third. Tau and Necrons in 3rd.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Tau came out just before Necrons or the other way. They both came out in 3rd. They weren't popular at all because people didn't think they were grim dark enough, and they took a lot of hate back then. But I think they got very popular very quickly because it was a completely different way of playing, I think.
Yeah.
Because Tau have 2 phases. They have the shoot phase and the movement phase. That's it. And if you muck one of them up, you're dead.
That's right.
So they're quite a finesse type army. But they're very popular now. Why are we talking about this? It's Tau.
Don't know.
Let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on to stuff we love. Okay, so...
What projects have you got on the go, Dave? What are your projects right now? What are the plans for the bunker? Where the world is beginning to unlock. Mm-hmm. Nurgle has stopped stroking parts of the planet, but it's still stroking other parts of the planet. Canada is... What are you doing? There must be some events you've got lined up.
So with the bunker... okay, so with the bunker, because it's zoned...
The gaming hall.
In the gaming hall? Okay. We haven't been focusing on events, live events, in-person events for obvious reasons. The Canada-U.S. border is still closed. People can't drive over the border. So that was the vast majority of our people that are coming here, guests that are traveling from afar, are U.S. citizens, right? And so it's like, okay, well, let's just focus on content. And when the world gets to a point where it's, a lot more reasonable in terms of traveling, and restrictions have lifted, then it makes sense to focus our energies more so on that stuff so that we can actually get a bigger return. So, I mean, that being said, it is open. The hotel rooms are available to stay in, but it's not an immediate right now. Next week, there's a massive tournament that we're doing. And it's also hard to plan. It's really hard to plan in the future because we went through this last year. Last spring, it was, okay, lockdown. And then it eased up a bit, and then good for a few months, and then lockdown again. So it's like, all right, do we plan something for the future just to have a lockdown possibly again? So there's this kind of unknown... we're in a time of uncertainty, that's for sure, with that.
Chaos.
We're in a time of chaos. And but the content... We can continue to make content, and there's nothing restricting us from that. Even the restrictions in person, because we're classified as film and TV, and those are completely different than a storefront and having people, the public in, right? So I'm sure it's similar for you, where you can continue to film and such.
Yeah. Who'd have thought it? Like entertainment was like a critical business.
Honestly, I believe it, because it's the escapism, it's the hope, it's the semblance of normality, all of that stuff. If that was completely cut, then it's 100% doom and gloom and no hope,
Yeah.
right? Like,
But it's hard to imagine that I'm as important as food, though.
no, 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 no,
Um,
no, no, definitely not as important. It's like maybe a toe.
right.
You know,
Okay.
like the food is your foot, and
Yeah.
you know, the entertainment might be your, like, not your pinky toe, because apparently there's a big balance issue there, but it's the one next to the
Yeah.
pinky. So it's like you still need it, otherwise it's awkward and uncomfortable.
Your pinky toe is important for balance, is it?
Yes, it is. I learned that recently, which threw me off. I'm like, seriously, it looks like a
Wow.
useless appendage, but no, it's like without a pinky, there's something to do with your balance that just goes off.
That's an interesting scientific fact. I didn't know that. I can give you an interesting scientific fact. Here's one of my favorite facts.
Okay. Yes.
You know sloths, those animals that climb trees in Brazil?
Yes.
Yeah, those really slow ones.
Sloths?
They're
Did you just say sloth?
sloth.
Yeah.
Sloth. What do you call them?
No, I just there was a little ding when you said that, so I didn't hear.
Yeah, sloths. They're so slow that moss grows on. Anyway, they're really bad at climbing trees, and like a quarter of them or so, a huge percentage of them fall to their death in their first year or two alive because they often grab their own arm or leg thinking it's a branch and they plummet to the death. I was watching like not a David Attenborough wildlife thing, but I was watching like a wildlife show many years ago, and the guy was walking through the forest with the guide and he's like, "Oh, dead sloth." And the guide was like, "Yeah, ignore it." And they're walking on like another dead sloth, and the guy was like, "Yeah, ignore it." And then again, it was like half hour later, another dead sloth. And the guy, "I got to know what's with all the dead sloths." And that's when the guide says, "Yeah, they're young sloths. They're really bad at climbing trees. They grab their own arms and legs, and they fall to their death because they're bad." So there you go.
Wow, it's an actual thing. The actual thing that happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fascinating and sad at the same time.
Well, yeah, it's the circle of life, Dave. It moves us on.
Oh, you know what? That actually reminds me. I learned this about polar bears. It's completely random.
Okay.
So apparently, the amount of vitamin content in a polar bear's liver is so potent that it can kill 24 humans if
Really?
if eaten. Yeah.
So what you're saying is, if the plane crashes Arctic and it hits, because I couldn't kill the polar bear, so because me one-on-one versus a polar bear, I'll give it a run for the money. I in a survival situation, but only I think it might win. Yes. So if the plane hits the polar bear, kills the polar bear, partially cooks it, a bit of thigh, a bit of bum, that's good, but don't go for the liver. That's what you're saying.
No,
stay away.
Definitely don't eat the liver. Heart is okay, but not the liver.
I've got another fact for you then while we're on facts.
Yes, facts. Okay. Facts. Let's do it.
So the Trans-Siberian Railway, Russia.
Okay, railway. All right.
Russia, right? There's a railway line that goes across the Mongolian plateau in a straight line for like 1,000 miles or something. And in the middle of the Mongolian plateau, it does this and keeps going, a little U. And there's no trees, no hills, no forests, no town. There's nothing there. It's just a flat plateau. And it does this 52-mile lump of a U and keeps going.
Crazy.
Do you know why?
No.
Because when the Tsar Alexander the whatever drew the line on the map, there was a nick in the ruler.
No way.
Yes way.
That's crazy.
Yes way. I know. That's a good fact. That's a great one. I like that one.
That's like
Your turn.
That's like the Spanish lisp thing with the
old Spanish
king.
lisp because of the king.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's insane. Wow.
Yes. They all talk with lisp like that. But Mexican Spanish languages, they don't have the lisp, right?
No.
American, no. Yeah. Yeah, weird.
That is weird.
What are we talking about? Falling from trees. Something. Oh, that's it. The bunker. Look. So you didn't say the plans. You can't plan anything. But what are the hopes? What are the dreams?
Okay, so let's pretend the restrictions weren't there. Basically.
GT. What?
Is that what you're saying? Like let's say there's no restrictions. What would the plans be?
Yeah, I mean ITC GTs. What is the
yes.
blue sky thinking? Go for it.
Okay, so that's what it would be. It would be a combination of tournaments, get-togethers, retreats, immersion campaigns, all of the above, all of the time. Ideally, a few every month.
That sounds Epic.
That's what it would be, right? So, okay, get this. Let's say, okay, no retreats,
Yeah.
legends, right?
Yeah.
Picture similar get-togethers here. Let's say there's a get-together for podcasters, 40K podcasters, Warhammer podcasters.
Can I come? Can I come? Can I come? Can I come?
You have a podcast, so yeah. You're invited.
I don't. Well, I don't have a podcast, but I'll start one. I'll start a 40K podcast.
Okay, so but you know people with podcast. Okay, so YouTuber. So this YouTuber's retreat. Okay, let's say there's.
Can I come? Can I come?
Yes.
Can I come?
Yes.
Okay.
Narrative retreat. Picture you're into like maybe heck for Horus Heresy. You're into Horus Heresy narrative, right?
Yes.
And you're a player. You don't have a channel, nothing, right? You're just a player. We have a specialized campaign, getaway, week-long immersion campaign, all focused on that here. Right? So it's just that type of stuff. We have a tournament. We have a 100-person tournament here. Right? It's all of that type of stuff. That's what it is. That's the idea.
How many tables have you got?
So right now, there's...
In the hall.
We have enough to house 60 players.
Yeah.
So however many tables that is.
I think the ITC thing is like, I think there's GTs and majors or something. And so long as it's over 50, that's a... See, if you had like an ITC, that would get so much coverage if you did one of them a couple of months, every month, as well as all the other narrative stuff. That'd be epic.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got all the scenery already. And you've got all the battle mats already. And you've got the rooms up above where people can stay already.
Mm-hmm.
How far away is the nearest...
airport?
Tim Hortons. Is that what it is in Canadian land?
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Yeah, it's about that. Yeah, it's pretty close.
It is Tim Hortons, right? That is the thing.
You're absolutely correct. Okay.
Yes.
Fun fact. Okay, my wife's grandpa, who was a police officer, when Tim Hortons was first going to be a thing, he was approached. Right. He was approached by his buddies who were also police officers. They're like, "Hey, we're going to start a donut shop. It's called Tim Hortons." And her grandpa's like, "Oh no, I don't want any part of that. You know, cops they don't eat donuts. They don't drink coffee." So that's the joke in the family, right? Where it's like, we could have been rich, Grandpa. Why'd you decline? Right? So like Tim Hortons is now what it is. But
dude, I've got a personal story. It's a very similar personal story like that. Back right at the start of Winter's SEO. I didn't do any adverts and I didn't have a patron for about 2 years. Mm-hmm. And a dude got in contact with me and said, "Hi, Winters, really like what you're doing. Here's a Bitcoin."
Okay.
And I said, "No, I don't take donations. No adverts, no patron. Thank you very much. Very generous of you." It was worth 50p or whatever it was back then.
Sure.
And he said, "Okay, fair enough. Suit yourself. No Bitcoin." I don't know how much they're worth now, but
okay, I gotta look this up.
That's my personal Tim Hortons story. A whole Bitcoin. I don't think you can even buy. I don't know. They're worth more than 50p now, definitely.
Okay, well, one Bitcoin.
Don't tell me. Okay, tell me. Don't tell me. Okay, tell me.
Okay, you want to?
Yes.
You want to compare it to pounds, right?
Yeah, go on then.
To British.
Well, Canadian pounds. I don't mind.
Okay, so one Bitcoin is 23,667 pounds.
That's you can buy a lot of donuts with that, Dave.
I love how you tied it in. That was quite clever.
Buy a lot of donuts with that.
Isn't it insane how Bitcoin? You know, I remember the day Elon Musk is like, "Get Bitcoin." He just tweeted it out. And then it was like, whoop, like the whole, like the value, like it was already doing well, right? But like as soon as he said that, it was just like, okay, all right, everyone, now it's serious.
Yeah, that's a proper influencer. Like there was a football tournament here a short while ago. It's called the Euros. Football is like what you guys do, but we don't pick it up. We use the foot, and we don't wear pads and things. It's like it's a ball with a foot. Mm-hmm. Anyway, there was a tournament and there's a guy called Ronaldo and he sits down at a press conference and there's some Coke in front of him because of all the sponsors. And he moved the Coke to one side and said, "Don't drink that, drink water, put water up there." Mm-hmm. And Coca-Cola lost 4 billion or something in
That's
in
right.
24 hours.
That's right. I remember that. Yeah.
Proper influencer. Yeah.
That's nuts.
I know.
That okay. Isn't that insane how there are a select few individuals on this planet that have
Yeah.
so many eyes on them that no
Yeah.
matter what they cause so much havoc with
I
their
know.
words and their actions. It is insane. It's actually insane.
We could try it. Don't buy Eldar, people. It's bad for your health. There you go. I tried. Or Tau, for Dave's sake. No more Tau. No more Tau. Yeah, but it's crazy.
Buy Corn Berserkers because that'll show that people want it. Therefore, they're going to make new versions of it so they can make more money.
Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah, just a couple of words and it changes the world. Maybe you just changed the 40K there. Like everyone is listening. Buy loads of chaos things. Yes.
I agree with what you were saying. So you know what? That's actually that. Let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about you as an influencer. Because
I'm not an influencer.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
I'm just a dude talking to another dude.
That's why you're an influencer. Because you're relatable. So that's the thing that I notice about your stuff. That's the thing that makes you unique. That sets you apart from a lot of the other influencers, we'll call them, wargaming influencers. Is that when you watch you, Winters, it genuinely feels like I'm standing beside you at the table, having a good laugh, rolling the dice with you. That's what it feels like when I watch your videos. I don't know if that's intended, but that is what happens. That's just the experience that I'm experiencing. And so, and I bet it's something you can't even help. That's just who you are. That's just like, there's no other option. That's just what you're going to get when you watch the Winters SEO.
Yes. That's why I don't relate, because it's all I can do. I'm me. And if you were stood next to me, then it would be a very smelly place because it's a very small room.
So is your studio, is it like your house? Is it a room in your place? Yeah. That's what it's always been, right?
Yeah. Well, it is. Yeah, it's always been a house. Before I met my wife, I met her and then started filming it. It's all her fault. But I moved house since I started the channel. It was downstairs in the living room and I had the board. It was a small 2-bed house. So the board was sort of attached to the main wall behind the sofa. And then when I have guests round, I'd move all the sofa around and put the board down on the table and play on that. And then she would be banished to the bedroom for the time that we were filming the battle report in the living room. Mm-hmm. And then we moved here. And when we moved here, it's in the third. People say 40K is expensive. Well, I had to buy another house because she said, no more of this sort of thing in the living room. I need to move around the house and things. So we bought another house, and then it's all in bedroom number 2 essentially.
Yeah. So dedicated gaming space. And
yeah, it's so cool having a man cave like that. Do you have any of your stuff at home? Is it all your man cave 40K stuff at the office, or do you have any of it at home? Is it?
There is a little bit at home. Just a little though.
Just a little touch.
Just a little touch. It's like the periphery. It's like a little just a little bit. And I have to admit though, like I do feel like my man cave is the studio. I do feel like all the playground stuff is really the bunker, right? Like that's what I feel like. So to have even more at home, it's like it feels selfish. It's like, Dave, how much more space, how much more fun man space do you need? Like I have my garage that I like to do woodworking in. And when I say woodworking, I mean crude putting stuff together and making stuff. I'm not that great.
I suppose the bunker definitely is. I mean, you built it. It's all the rooms, all the designs. That's you, right?
I can take credit for the idea, absolutely. But I would be remiss to not mention the 100 people that it took to build it.
But it was your designs.
It was, yes. There was also the bunker crew who had a lot to say in the design of the studios, and so that wasn't 100% me. I did have to make sure that I liked everything and approve stuff. But
Okay.
in terms of like the raw creativity, that was a collaboration for sure. The overall
Okay.
vision was mine. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was your baby. It was a
Yes.
baby in your brain that you gave birth to and brought into being in the world. It's your imagination made manifest in Canadian land,
True.
in the frozen north somewhere.
That's right. Yes.
So your man cave is cavernous. You have a cavernous cave. That sounds bad.
Is there any other type of cave?
Uh, yes. Wookiee hole. Wookiee hole is another type of cave.
Yeah.
Um,
But no, yeah. I mean, it is definitely I mean, it's a dream come true, right? There's no other way to describe it. It's certainly awesome, and I would love for all to come and experience this place in the way in which they want to experience it, and
nice.
just, yeah, absolutely.
Nice. But you think, I often thought actually that Games Workshop should open up a hotel because you've been to Warhammer World, right?
I have.
And you have to go and stay at the Holiday Inn or the Premier Inn or something like 5 minutes away or blah blah blah. The amount of guests that they have coming through that hall every day. They have the guest book and people are signing it from Australia, from Jupiter, from Baal, from Fenris. They come from far and wide.
Mm-hmm.
And if they just had a hotel next door, they could charge a bit more than the Premier Inn and the Holiday Inn, and I don't know why they don't have their own place.
Yeah,
But again,
they definitely should. I mean, that would add to the overall experience that the gamers want and crave. Yeah, it fills that niche.
yeah,
I
because
agree.
the hall is busy all the time. It doesn't matter when you go; it's busy.
It's always
And
something.
booking. You can't book at the moment now because they're only allowing booking up to 2 weeks in advance. I know this because I tried to book yesterday, and they said no, we're only booking up to 2 weeks for the moment because of COVID, and things might change. But yeah, they should definitely have their own hotel and things. You at the moment are the only place in the world where people can go and experience in the cave itself. So that's very exciting. It's very good.
Yeah, it's a good thing. All right, so let's switch it back to you for a moment. What
I'm not very good on me.
you're the best on you.
Yeah.
We are all experts on ourselves, and I love hearing everything that you have to say about yourself because of the way that you winterize it. Did you see what I did there?
I like it. That's
You like
good.
it?
Well done.
That was good, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What projects do you have on the go?
Oh, so yeah, the secret army over there for Winter's tournament practice.
you can't reveal it.
Filming some Necromunda. That's on the go. There's getting out and about. I can talk about that because Nurgle is unlocking. We are doing things. So
just like restaurants and like day-to-day normal. Is that what you mean?
Well, no, I spoke to some people up in Belper, which is about half hour from Nottingham. It's very close to Nottingham, and they have their own tabletopevents.co.uk. So big shout out to tabletopevents.co.uk. What it is it's two chaps who make terrain for a living. One is March of War, James, and the other one's Ed, and I forget what his company is. But they're terrain manufacturers.
Okay.
And they've got together and they opened a hall like literally last month called tabletopevents.co.uk. And the idea is that they'll run these events in this hall and they can have 40, 50, 60 people. And you can hire out the hall because they're terrain manufacturers. All the terrain is in there. And I went to speak to them. And what they've done is they've allowed the deployment zone community to have the hall for 1 day a month, every month through this year. So one of the things that is on the go for me is now Nurgle is unlocking. I was so desperate to get out the house, aren't we all?
Yes.
So desperate to get out of the house, but also really desperate to get the community together, my community together, because they feed me. so desperate to give something back and get the community together is we've got that hall now once a month, every month, beginning of the month. And we're calling it DZ Days. So we went to one the first one in July happened. The next one is happening in the beginning of August. Anyway, so you have to be a member of the community, and we're all booked up, by the way. It's not a good advert for deploymentzone.tv right now because there's no point joining us to come because it's booked. But it's a good shout out to tabletopevents.co.uk. So it's very generous of them to give us the hall to use. And then I shouted about it on or in the deployment zone, and now we're meeting once a month, every month up there. So that's one of the things that's happening. That's very exciting. Another thing that's happening is we're going to be doing a deployment zone narrative event for the community as well.
Cool.
And that will be happening at the end of the year, November, December. And that one is probably going to be down south somewhere. So basically, the main thing that's happening for me is I'm trying to set up and organize community events with my community for my community as an excuse to get people out of the house and meet and roll dice and have fun, because bringing people together and enjoying company and playing the game, that's what it's all about. I agree. And now I have the opportunity to do that, like the bunker thing. That's why I'm excited about your bunker, actually getting people in. It's exciting stuff. So yeah, that's my main focus. Obviously making content and series and things like that for the deployment zone. But the main thing on my plate at the moment is to try to give back to the deployment zone community, because they feed me, and I'm so grateful and humble that I can do this for a living finally. So
isn't that
yes?
Okay, I gotta say about what you're saying there. Isn't it amazing the community that we have that is able to support content creators like ourselves, and we can do what we're doing and continue to feed the community, who in turn feeds us. Like it's amazing. It's super cool. And how there's a number of us now that do that are supported by the community. Yeah. And more every day there's more people being supported by the community, so that they can make content and kind of add to that escapism and that de-stressor and that joy time. So it's really interesting how, like, over the course of my experience anyway, in the 14 years that I've been doing this, how I've seen the evolution of that. And I think it's awesome. I think it's really cool. That's why I love doing collaborations with channels such as yourself. And okay, this is the Easter egg throwing time. Should we drop it?
Okay, go on then.
We don't have to. This could be in with the secret project thing. It entirely.
But it's sort of been scratched for the time being, though, hasn't it?
It has.
The Easter egg.
It has been, yes. Okay, so here's the
thing.
But
you started now, so you have to finish.
Okay, I got it. All right. So I mean, there's been a lot of talk about the bunker, and then there's talk about collaboration, and there's talk about all that stuff. So for you guys that are watching right now and who are watching afterwards, Winters and I, or Winters SEO and Mini Wargaming, we have been planning a get together here at the bunker. I must mention Tom Shuby though, because he's the sponsor for this. So our good friend Tom, were it not for him, it would not be possible. This is an awesome idea that I love, and there's a lot of goodness to be had because of this. And it's the in-person stuff that really is the thing, right? Like there's cool crossover online, and that's one thing, super cool in and of itself. But for some reason, the in-person stuff just kind of trumps it all. It makes it elevates it to that other level, and there's so many things that spawn from that. And so that's tentatively this year sometime.
Which was tentatively last year, and then Nurgle sneak. Yeah. I'm really, really looking forward to coming out there at some point this millennium and making some content for Mini Wargaming and for the Vault, and just to beat you guys and have some fun and blah, blah. It's just, it's very exciting. I love the collaboration stuff as well. It's good.
It is good. I
was going to say something.
You were going to say
what
something.
Was I going to say? Yes. People, and 10 years ago, this didn't happen. There was none of us were out there making, I mean, you had the store, your income was coming in from another source, right?
Yeah.
So it feels like this is growing and growing and growing. And we're very privileged to be here. And sorry, I'm getting distracted by the idea of coming out. What are we going to do? It's going to have to be Chaos versus Imperium, right?
Well, you said it. Okay, I agree.
I don't know. It's it's just an idea because you're the Shrine of Chaos. You're the Mark of Dave. You're Corn. You've got Deafy. You've got all that going for it. I do play Chaos and other things as well, but I'm mostly known as I'm an Imperial player
You
at
got
heart.
the 13th. Like that's your
I
thing.
got the 13th. Yeah.
So you gotta bring your third. We gotta do a battle. The 13th and yeah.
I'll bring a lot of them. I'll bring like 10,000 points worth of 13th. Well, no, because then we'll have lots to choose from.
Okay.
So we can do a couple of battles, maybe.
Yeah. I think a campaign would be in order. It doesn't have to be a long one. Like maybe like kind of like a maybe 2 to 4 games type of deal where they're linked. And it could be a culmination to this massive game at the end or something. Any sort of thing like that would be fun. Ultimately, no matter what we do, it's gonna be fun. But I think that would be it, though. I think that the formula that it has to include the 13th. It's got to include Deafy and World Eaters. It's got to include all of that somehow. And whatever death has had on the battlefield, it's a byproduct.
That would be epic, man. Yeah. You don't have to be. This is a thing. I get asked this if you don't. You don't have to have really big battles to have narrative battles.
True.
So what I mean is bring out lots of stuff so we can choose. You can have the most narrative-focused, story-driven stories and just have 1,000 point battles. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be big to be narrative. In fact, sometimes doing it smaller makes the story clearer.
Yes, I agree. I know what you're saying, and I agree with that because there's less noise, less clutter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, just because you're doing a battle, so for example, you do it and I do it as well. This is the Eye of the Storm. This is where my captain and your captain meet, but there's 100,000 points worth of fight going on all the way to the horizon over there, for example. This is the Eye of the Storm. This is the ruins at this. So you don't have to field 10,000 points. You can field 500 points or 1,000 points, and this is where the camera is focused for this particular shot of the Infinity War. But there's lots of other stuff going on over there.
Yeah, I like it. Somebody's asking if there's steaks. Should there be steaks?
I like steak. Steak is nice. I'm not a vegetarian. There should definitely be steaks. Are you a vegetarian?
I am not a vegetarian.
Okay, steaks it is then. Yes is the answer to that. Yes, there will be steak.
Yeah. That being said, I actually prefer a plant-based diet, but if there is meat, I will eat it. Under circumstances, absolutely. I love meat.
Okay.
I can't deny the fact that meat is delicious. In fact, there's the trinity of meat. There's the steak, chicken wing, and bacon. I must say, as long as you have those three that are in existence, then one should be happy.
Everything's better with bacon.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Have you ever wrapped a steak in bacon?
Yeah. I know. I do. Yeah. My wife's Polish, so I eat lots of lovely, lovely food and steaks and meats and all sorts of things. Yes.
That's right.
Yeah, there will be steaks. We'll do steaks. What is the Canadian national dish?
The maple syrup. I don't know. I actually don't know. That's the first thing that came to my brain. National dish. I don't know if there is one. What's Canadian food?
What is Canadian food?
I mean, poutine.
Elk? What?
Or poutine, maybe.
What's Putin?
That would be.
Isn't that the
French fries?
Putin.
So no, I say poutine, but they say Putin. They say.
Are you talking about the president of Russia?
I am not. That's something very different. But
Right.
what I am talking about is fries. But you call them crisps.
Crisps.
I think. So fries with gravy and cheese curds that are melted. So that's poutine.
I think you mean chips.
Chips. Yeah. What are crisps? Those are actually chips, right? Like
our crisps
potato chips.
Are your chips.
Crisps
and
are chips.
Your chips. Your chips are our crisps.
Yes.
And your fries are our chips.
Okay.
Yes.
I think that's right. Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay.
Okay, let me see if I retain that. Okay, French
Okay.
fries,
Yes.
chips.
Well, fish and chips. You know what fish and chips are?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Actually, there is a difference between a chip and a French fry. In this, we have French fries as well. They're the skinny versions of chips, but chips are like big, fat, stodgy chips, like fish and
Like
chips. They'd be
wedges.
big and
Oh, like the
what?
thicker ones.
Yes, they would be a chip. But you could also call a French fry a chip. But they are French fries. In America, freedom fries or whatever.
That was pretty good. That was like there was no accent. Well, no accent. There was an American accent, 100% there.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you
Thanks.
do? Can you do an American accent?
Can I do an American? I could try. What? Would say something in American. Go on.
In American land, we
In
call them
American
steak
land,
fries.
in American land, I like some steak fries. Is that no?
Yeah, no, that sounds like it. That's pretty good. That's like
Yeah,
a
okay, cool.
that's
There's
like a
different American.
TV version of someone that's like I don't know from Kentucky or that's what I think of
Yeah,
anyway. That's probably not even close to the actual people from Kentucky, but like that's what I think of. Therefore, it's probably accepted.
I've got a question for you because there's different American accents, isn't there? There's the South
Hmm.
one, there's the Boston, and then there's the Los Angeles one. There's different
Yep.
American accents,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Absolutely.
There's loads of English accents. You've heard them on some TV shows.
Cockney and there's
Yeah,
Liverpool.
in Birmingham, and also the Queen's English, where she talks like this all the time. The question that I have for you is: are there different types of Canadian land accents,
There
or are
are.
they?
Yeah,
There are.
there are. Yeah.
Okay.
There's the Maritimes. So that's a slightly different way of speak. Okay, where if you're a Newfoundlander, that's a very different way of talking. It's almost like a watered down Irish, kind of. You know.
Right.
Okay, so the stereotypical English accent is to New York accent, as
Right.
Irish accent is to Maritime Newfoundland accent. Like it's kind of like this. If there's a lilt to the talking, hey, what do you say, boy? Oh boy, oh down the boy. So there's like this weird way. That was a horrible version of it, by the way. Just in case you didn't already know, I had to clarify that. Yes,
So the answer is yes.
yes, and then
Okay. All right.
out west, it's also different. You know, they don't say family; they say family. So it's slightly different. Ontario is closer to the Californian accent. Closer,
Yeah, you're
similar.
you're you're around there, right? You're Niagara, Toronto area.
Yeah.
Is that Ontario?
Yes, that is Ontario.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, I will say this because of I've done some acting, and I am more mindful of my diction. And I'm more cognizant of it.
You're
So
what now?
the plosives and the lilts and all this stuff when it comes to
Okay.
language, I try not to say, "Hey, what about, eh?" Like, because that's like the Canadian stereotypical accent. But very few people, I shouldn't say very few. Many people talk like that, but it's not as exaggerated as that. On the rare occasion it is, and it's funny even
Okay.
for us. But yeah,
So, okay. So, yeah, okay. All right.
yeah, it is funny though. It's funny. Like how many British accents are there?
There must be about 200. There's loads of different types of accents all over Britain. There's loads. There's weird. One minute, I need to do something about the lighting.
You know what? I think
So, I'm in the West Country, and they talk like they roll their R's around here like tractor. I can't read and I can't write, but that doesn't really matter because I come from Swindon Town and I can drive a tractor. That's how they talk like around here.
around where you live.
Around here, yeah. That's how that are. It's the West Country. Yes, there's lots of farming and cider around where I live in the West Country. They talk a bit like that. This is where we are. Yes.
I find that I'm not sure which accent it is, but there's some words that you add an R to the end of the word
Okay.
when it doesn't have a literal R at the end, but it sounds like an American R.
Okay.
I can't give you an
I
example
don't.
of it.
I can't. You need to. I don't know where you're going with this. Okay.
I'm going somewhere. I'm going to a place I'm not familiar with. I
I'm
must say.
not. I'm not on the same street. I need some directions. I need a map. You're in a different part of town to me right now, Dave.
Okay, SAW. How do you say that?
Saw.
Okay, see now, that's a deliberate way in which you're saying it because you're on the spot. It could say saw in a sentence.
Um. I went to saw a tree down. I'm going to saw this table in half.
Okay.
You don't cut. You don't slice up bread using a saw. Use a knife.
Okay, so that's not a good example of what I'm talking about because you are not falling into my trap. So it's adding the R.
The R. Saw.
Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Can you give me an example of a word that I can give Winters where he can say it? I went to saw a tree down. No, it's not working.
See, I don't really have.
Oh no, Canada. Say like Canada. You actually did it before. How do you say Canada?
Canadian land.
that's fair. I say it like that too. Can you say Canada in a sentence though? And it's a word in the middle of the sentence.
I once went to Canada. It was lovely. It snowed a lot.
Okay, so it's probably one of those things where it's like, without thinking about it.
I don't have much of an accent. I don't have much. I've just the standard English accent. You know, this is the AAA. You're born stamp. Deathcore. Take this accent. Okay, I'm not from Katajan. I'm not from any. I'm not the voice drawing regulars. I'm a Krieger down the middle. Stamp number 32. Get out the door. I don't have an accent.
Yeah, that's
you have the accent.
I do. I know I do. It feels weird to think about. In fact, I can't tell where you're from. I don't know where in England you're from, based on your accent.
It's an hour left of London.
Do you have a London accent then, or no?
No. No.
What? Okay.
That's Cockney, isn't it? London is Cockney.
Is it?
Yeah, apples and pears, all that stuff.
Oh, going up the stairs?
Yeah.
I love it. I love that stuff, by the way. When I visited England, I loved every second of it, I must say. That was fun.
I love accents. I love all these regional stuff. My family are all over the world. Love accents. Love different types of food. It would be a grey and boring world if everyone sounded and looked and ate and acted the same. It would. Yeah, it's good.
I absolutely.
But
agree.
yeah, if you go to England and you drive 50 miles up the road and people will talk slightly differently to them 50 miles away and 50 miles away and 50 miles away. And of course, in Canada, you drive 50 miles somewhere, you're still in the same town. So
that's true. Yeah, sometimes it takes like 20 minutes to like drive across town. It's the craziest thing. And it's not even rush hour. That's just like the distance. Yeah. But I was very happy to mind the gap as I was riding the tube. And I think it's time we do a giveaway. But before we do that, I think it's tradition that we do a Chaos Comment Bomb first. So, for those of you who are watching right now, we have not done the giveaway. We're going to do a Chaos Comment Bomb first. Got to see a lot of people asking about it. Bombs away. This is what we're going to do. This is as per the recommendation of Winters. I'm going to post a link in the chat, and that'll bring you to a YouTube video. And for this, we leave a comment on this YouTube video, and the comment could be something like, Winters and Dave say hi from the Shrine of Chaos. It could be collect chaos because that is a good thing to do in life. Or
collect chaos is good.
Whatever you want, as long as he knows he's been Chaos Comment Bombed, that's really the most important thing. I'm posting this a number of times just so it's unquestionable where the link goes.
Collect chaos is a good one. The first rule of Fight Club is collect chaos.
Collect chaos,
yeah.
Yep.
The second rule of Fight Club is collect chaos.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
where are my 2 wound noise marines? That's a good one.
There's an endless cacophony of chaos. By the way, I think there's... Okay, you know how sometimes in armies... I'm going to segue a little bit right now. In armies, there are some times when there are certain strats and certain rules where there's really just like it's the best configuration, hands down. There's no other way. It's kind of like Havocs. You always have the Marcus Slanesh on Havocs, right?
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
thing like that. You gotta wonder why. Because I mean, there's a definite imbalance, right? Like, how often do you have Mark of Zinch Havocs for any reason? Right? They just don't exist. If people do it, it's like 100% lore driven. It's not gameplay at all. Right? And so you got to wonder, would it be better if they made things that were kind of equal in their own way, or is it good that they actually have one that drastically sticks out and is much better than the rest? What do you think? What are your thoughts?
What I see, that's a good question, Dave. We're actually talking about 40K.
That's true.
The thing that popped into my mind was, wouldn't it be better if the marks were written? Here's an idea. So you have the 4 marks, but they actually did something. Say you could pay the upgrade to put a marker Zinch, marker Korn, marker something on any unit or X number of units, and that unlocked, say, 4 strats or 1 strat or 10 strats for that mark. So here's a couple of strats that you get for Mark of Zinch, but you can only use these strats if you have Mark of Zinch. And you would put them, say for example, Mark of Zinch on some Havocs. So you put Mark of Zinch on some Havocs, and one of the things that Mark of Zinch might unlock is this 1 strat, which is point at a unit, and that turn it gets a 5-up invulnerable save. Zinch, lucky.
Yeah.
Right? So that's my thoughts on it. Wouldn't it be better if the marks were written better? And unlock specific. Here's a Mark of Korn. So you could put Mark of Korn on some just Chaos Space Marines, or a Defiler, or X, or Y. And because you have Mark of Korn, this is what you could do. There would be 8 stratagems for Korn. There would be 7 for Nurgle. Do you see where I'm going with this?
I like it.
Yeah, and you could pick one of the 8 specific Korn strats for the Mark of Korn, and one of them could be Fight Twice. One of them could be a 5-up Feel No Pain because just Blood Rage. One of them could be Consolidate 6 inches instead of 3 inches. You could have all these sorts of things. One of them could be an extra AP. And
Yes. Some of those exist already, but some of them don't.
Yeah.
And I like that. You know what? In fact, if they did it kind of similar how they did it in the past, where you apply a mark to a unit and it's like, all right, Mark of Korn, what was that? Like, it would give it Furious Charge. Right?
Yeah.
Or Nurgle higher toughness and so forth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked that a lot. Kind of wish they'd go back to that.
It added flavor also because you could build an army, and because you knew that you were going to put Mark of Nurgle on X number of narrative players would paint units in a certain way or add conversions to units in a certain way, knowing that those units would have these marks on. So yes, these are my Plague Marines, but these are also my Chaos Space Marines with Mark of Nurgle, and they would convert and paint. Yeah, make the marks great again is what I say.
I like because you know how the orcs, they have the mech shop thing where you can upgrade units before the game starts.
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool if they did something similar with Chaos, where it's like, all right, you can put a mark on it, you can put the special ability on it. And it boosts them, essentially. Right?
Yeah.
It kind of Chaos boons them almost, but in a very specific way. And you pay the CP for it. That's fine, right? That's all within the current system that they have. But at least it's an option. It's a flavorful option.
Here's the question then. Would you prefer a system where you've got the marks and you pay to boost them like they did the old ways? So you pay for the marker Korn, you pay for however you do it in stratagems or points or whatever. Do you prefer that kind of system, or would you prefer a newer system which you put the marks on things and it unlocked more in the sense that I was talking about? It unlocks more because you could play more stratagems and more. Which one would you prefer? Both? Either?
The second
old
one,
way?
Your suggestion is preferable because it's more flavorful and there's more options with it. Yeah. Whereas the one, you're limited to your CP, and you have to kind of like balance. All right, do I spend all my CP to upgrade my stuff, or do I do less because I want CP in the game? So whereas your way, it's like, okay, just build an army. It's much better. Lot more flexibility.
Yeah, having the marker corn on something was an extra attack, right? That's what it did.
Yeah. Extra attack. I think it was strength and attack at one point in time.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, extra
But it'd
attack.
be nice. It would be nice if the mark of corn, if you put the mark of corn on the unit, I think, and it just that could be one of the things. Add one strength, add one attack, add this, add that, and it unlocks a toolbox for you, 5 or 6 or 8 stratagems, 8 things, and you could apply the tools at the certain time for the certain units when you wanted to do it. I think that's what I would do. I like that.
You know what might be cool? Okay, so that actually spawned a different chain of. So you know how like there's miracle dice with sisters.
Yes.
It'd be kind of neat if there were like blood dice for corn, where you could actually apply these special upgrades and whatever in game, according to like the kills that you've made and whatever. So you earn them, right? So like on the battlefield, it like unlocks. That'd be neat too.
Like a tithe.
Like a tithe, exactly right.
That would be really good.
Yeah, that would be neat. But not in the sense where you just get like new units, but you actually like upgrade existing units too.
Yeah.
So Chaos Comet Bomb. Let's see where we're at there. So awesome. 1, 2, 3. I like it. My OCD is appeased. Had so many comments in there from the 2 that it started at. Thank you very much, everyone, for participating in that. Winter Wizard 7. That is the YouTube channel here, and his latest video, which was posted a few days ago. I'm excited to know his response. I don't know. You know him, so perhaps you'll tell me later. I'm always curious to know. And so that's
he
that.
came and had a fight with me, and his YouTube channel is just his hobby, his lore, his painting, it's like he's put his whole armies and his whole narrative out there for people to see and he doesn't do battle reports or anything like that. He's just such a creative person. He's put it all out on the internet, and it's my hat off to him.
Yeah, no, I
Not
love
really.
that. It's hobbyist for the sake of hobbying, and fantastic. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, Death Watch. Not Death Watch, not Death Guard. It is Death Watch giveaway. Now, I checked this box beforehand, and from my quick visual inspection, it looked as though it was all intact. So if there is anything missing, I apologize in advance, but it looked like everything was on sprue. So should be good when it gets to you. This is an older box, so you're getting straight up Space Marines. Actually, is it an older box?
Yes, start collecting Death Watch. It's good. It's good value for money, that. And what was it doing in the Shrine of Chaos, Dave? It shouldn't be there.
That's why it's being given away. Just because it was temporarily on the shelf, and now it needs to go. And it's going to find a new home. So I don't actually know what it was doing. So it just appeared here one day. And that's what happens when things get spit out in the warp. So, Winters, if you would, could you choose the keyword that people need to type in the chat in order to be entered into the giveaway? Folks, you don't have to do anything special to enter. Just type in a word in the chat, and I'm going to randomly mouse wheel the cursor wherever it lands. That's the person who's going to win. It's very unofficial. You don't have to write an essay or anything. That's
okay. Corn.
Nice. All versions of corn or corn?
CORN. I'm joking. Joking. Corn, KH, corn, the god corn.
I love it. Now there's like corn mixed in with corn. And so
no, delete. Just corn, the chaos god corn.
Oh, I knew it. You know what? The normal word corn mixed in the rig, it's kind of like the Alexander's U. That's what it looks like in the comments.
Right. That's cool.
And I hear the computer revving up. Every time that happens, people are typing. Computer revs up. Gets busy.
Yeah.
Did you hear that jingle? Did you hear that ding?
No.
Okay, so you don't hear. Only I hear that.
Yes.
All right.
What jingle? What are you talking about?
You said no, like I'm a crazy person. You're like, no, Dave. No. Only you hear that. Those are only your voices in your head.
Don't listen to the voices, Dave. Don't listen to the voices.
Unless they tell you to.
Don't. They're telling you to collect tau. Collect tau.
Had to go there. It's the worst possible.
Don't listen,
nightmare.
Dave.
That is a nightmare. Okay.
Dave, I've got a question for you.
Yes.
What is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow?
An unladen swallow? So a bird that's just lying there? Like, what do you mean? Oh, you mean like an egg? Like, what are you actually asking me? Is that what you're asking me? Like a bird that's not born yet? What's the speed?
It was a quote from a movie. I thought you'd jump on it, but no.
Is that Monty Python?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Or just the random thing threw at your head to see how you reacted, and your reaction was priceless. Thank you. It's like, what? Hey, what? You're literally trying to answer that seriously. That was beautiful.
I didn't get it right away.
African or European swallow?
That should be that's the appropriate response, right?
Yeah. Beautiful.
Okay, so the answer is Jose Villalobos. Congratulations, Jose Villalobos, on Facebook. That's a Facebook viewer. So, by the way, if you were on Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook, it didn't matter. You could be entered no matter what. So I'm going to write down that name before I forget. So, Jose, what you need to do is message us on Facebook. Let's get to write down that name before I forget. Jose Villalobos. And message the Mini Wargaming Facebook page. That's where you want to send a message to. Don't do Mini Wargamer Dave Facebook or anything else. Mini Wargaming Facebook page proper. That's where you send the message. And reply with your address and stuff so we can send it to you. Thank you very much for that. And all who are participated in the Shrine of Chaos today. And the Chaos Comet Bomb and everything. So we got... Winters, we have 400 people here. Should we do another Chaos Comet Bomb just for fun?
We can, yeah, sure.
We can. Just one last one before we go. Do you think, one last...
I want to say Sultan Plays, but I feel like that's a bit of a cheat.
Because that's...
Well, Sultan Plays he doesn't do 40k.
Oh, he doesn't?
No, but he was my support bubble during the lockdown. And without Sultan, there would have been a deployment zone because he was the only person I could play with. And he's in the deployment zone often with me, doing games and things. But
I think for that reason, we should Chaos Comet Bomb Sultan Plays.
And I did a video. Well, I put one of his videos on my YouTube recently as well, just to try and promote the crap out of his channel. Because, yeah. Deployment Zone wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Sultan. He's a lovely guy. I like Sultan an awful lot. Now, there's many support bubbles out there, but this one is mine.
Does he do video game play videos also? Is that him? Same person?
Yeah, video games. Yeah, it's like Call of Duty. He's done some Necromunda. It's really new. He's new. He's going to start streaming it, actually. There's a plan, because I play a bit of Call of Duty every now and then with him, and he wants to stream it on Twitch. I hear that this is a thing in the internet world, that people do this. And that there are millionaires out there who stream on Twitch. But Twitch is a thing.
Yes.
It's like YouTube, apparently. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Once or twice. Yeah. Twitch is there's definitely an entity out there that people are able to do a lot of things on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to... Yeah. It sounds itchy, though, doesn't it? Twitch.
It is a bit itchy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Twitches and itches go together.
Twitches and itches. Put a bit of talcum powder on that, you might be fine.
So I provided a link here in the chat to Sultan Plays, to his latest video, Are We Verdansk Millionaires? From Warzone. And let's Chaos Comet Bomb this guy, because he supported Winters in a time which was a time that needed to be supported, which in turn added a lot of videos to the community, and were not so, it wouldn't have happened. So amazing stuff. Or I'm guessing not in the same way. I'm guessing he still would have made videos, but perhaps not games, not battles.
Well, at the start of the lockdown, I was sending dice out, Deployment Zone dice from my house. It's now all done from Element Games through our sponsors. But people would email me and say, "Can I have some dice?" And I was like, "Yes." And his address came up, and it was 2 streets away. It's like, "Oh, you want some dice?" So I posted it directly through his letterbox.
Uh-huh.
And then when the lockdown happened, I was like, "I need help filming things. You're just round the corner. Would you mind helping?" And he went, "Yeah, sure, no problem." It turns he only got into the hobby just before the lock. He had 3 games before the first lockdown happened.
No way.
So like 90% of his games he's had with me.
That's crazy. That is actually crazy. That's awesome, though. Yeah, awesome.
Nice guy.
Nice guy. Absolutely, I agree with that. And you know what? Thank you guys for participating in this Chaos Comic Bomb, saying hi to Sultan, and it's guys like Sultan that make things happen. Clearly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Super
It's because the magic mini wargaming are a magical, wonderful creature. You're an entity in a faraway land across the ocean where magical and wonderful things happen, but they couldn't happen without people coming and fighting with you and playing with you. And people travel around the world to see you guys. And so, yeah, I mean, we get some thanks, and we get some thanks and some praise, but really it's the audience, really it's the YouTube internet community and Facebook community that makes this happen. Really, it's you guys out there. You guys out there make this happen.
Yes.
We're just riding the wave, really, and you're the wave.
You're the wave.
We're surfing the top, and sometimes sinking and crashing, but mainly trying to surf the top. But you're the wave that keeps us aloft. So thank you.
I agree. Well said. Thank you very much, guys, for tuning in this week, and thank you, Winters. As always, a pleasure to have you in the Shrine of Chaos. I need to plug you, though, because a shout out to you and your channel. If you're watching this right now, links to WintersSEO YouTube channel is in this post. Also, Deployment Zone TV, there's a link to that. That's how you can support WintersSEO directly through his membership site and see all the extra content that he produces and provides there with Liam Dempsey and other collaborators. Play on Tabletop is also doing a big collaboration with Deployment Zone TV right now, so that's awesome if you want to check that out. That is super cool. Our friends over at Tabletop, Play on Tabletop. And that's it. And there's one more. Actually, I also provided a link to the Chaos Comic Bomb, too, just in case you're watching this after the fact. If you want to participate, too, in some of the fun. So thanks again, guys. Any last word, Winters?
Last word, lemon.